Good day, amazing viewers and subscribers, and welcome to a brand new exciting Doctor Who topic video for today. So this video, it is to celebrate 61 amazing years of Doctor Who. And for this video, I wanted to do something special. So I wanted to do a big, massive event of a live stream talking about my 100 favourite episodes, my 100 favourite stories of Doctor Who. But because I'm working, I'm not going to have the time to do that live stream tomorrow, unfortunately. But I'm going to do something better. So for this video, I'm literally going to talk about every single Doctor, my favourite season is, who is the most definitive companion, and the most definitive, basically, villain. And of course, my favourite story from each of the Doctor. Now, I absolutely love all of the Doctors, don't get me wrong. And some Doctors have moved up. I mean, if you look at Colin Baker, he's really moved into my 5th favourite Doctor. I really do love John Pertwee, but he's actually become my 6th favourite Doctor, because last time I did my big, massive ranking videos, Colin Baker was basically below John, but Colin has kind of got the spot because of Big Finish and of just basically rewatching season 22 and season 23 over the last couple of months. So for this video, I'm going to talk about basically all of the Doctors, and mainly my favourite season from that Doctor, my favourite companion, and basically who I think is the most definitive villain for that Doctor to actually come across. So let's get into it. Talking about the first Doctor, played by William Hartnell, David Bradley and Richard Herndon. Even though William Hartnell is still the original actor to play the first Doctor, and I absolutely genuinely love him for that because he's so good in the role of the first Doctor. So William Hartnell, he's crotchety, he's grumpy, he's very, very somebody that literally will put you in your place. He is very much like that. He will literally tell them straightforward what he thinks of them and basically leave it like that. So my favourite Hartnell season has got to go to season 2, which you can see behind me on the shelf because I'm on display. I absolutely love season 2. It is my favourite Hartnell season. I just honestly absolutely love it because I love all of the stories. And I think they are basically amazing and just pure brilliancy and just fantastic. Really do. Then, of course, talking about the most definitive companions of the first Doctor, I'm going to have to say Vicky. Because Vicky is very much better than Susan and Dodo and Polly and Ben and basically Stephen and Ian and Barbara. I really like Vicky. Mira O'Brien plays the role of Vicky really, really well. And I do like a character arc going in from basically this kind of orphan that they kind of adopt. And the Doctor kind of adopts her like an adopted granddaughter until she goes and gets married in the year of Troy. I have read the target book to the Mythmakers, and it's actually one of my favourite companion departures because it is a missing story, but the target book, oh man, if you haven't read the target book to the Mythmakers, go and read it because it is honestly such a classic story. And I absolutely love reading missing stories, and I really love Vicky's departure. It's such good. So talking about the most definitive villain for the first Doctor. Now, when I think of the villains that the first Doctor's come across, there's only 2 that really spring to mind. And one of them's the Daleks. I really think the Daleks are the most definitive version of the villain of the Doctor, because William Hartnell's Doctor meets them 4 times and he does defeat them all 4 times, including that one of them he nearly died of because he was aging because of the Daleks' time reality bomb, which again, it's just such a good story. And then of course you've got like the meddling monk, who is honestly fantastic. 2 Doctor Who appearances with William Hartnell's Doctor in basically the Time Middler, and of course the Daleks Master Plan. And I just absolutely love the meddling monk. He's such a great villain. But I think the most definitive thing to say for the first Doctor for his villains has got to go to the Daleks. I honestly flat out love the Daleks with William Hartnell's Doctor. Terry Nation written them so good, but I think I prefer David Whittaker's take on the Daleks, especially reading the target book to Doctor Who and the Daleks. I really think he captures the Dalek spirit quite well. Absolutely flipping brilliant and amazing. So yeah, I think the Daleks are the most definitive villain for the first Doctor. And then of course, my favourite story for the first Doctor has got to go to the Dalek invasion of Earth. I really love the setting. I really love the departure to Susan, because Susan's departure is definitely one of my favourite companion departures. I just absolutely love Hartnell's speech in that story, and I just absolutely love it. The second Doctor, the Cosmic Hobo, the absolutely iconic version of the Doctor. If Patrick Ryan didn't take over the role, Doctor Who would have been finished there and then. I absolutely do enjoy Patron. He is honestly my third favourite version of the Doctor, and he's always going to be my third favourite because my top three versions of the Doctor do not change. They honestly do not flipping change, and I really love that the second Doctor is my third favourite Doctor. Now, my favourite season for the second Doctor has got to go to season 6, because I genuinely just love season 6. Season 6 is a flat out amazing season. I love all the stories, including the Dominators. Even though the Dominators is definitely the weakest link of season 6, I still quite enjoy it. It's got some great moments just because of Patrick Troughton. When I think of the most definitive companion to the second Doctor, I'm going to have to say it's a tie between Zoe and Jamie, because I generally just love season 6. I really love the dynamic between the Doctor, Zoe and Jamie, because when we first meet Jamie, he's more like Ben, more like a sideline character, because you got Ben, who's more like a tough guy, you got Polly, and then of course you've got the Doctor, and Jamie stays with the second Doctor for basically for the majority of the second Doctor's timeline. And I really like Jamie. No offense, but Fraser Hines plays Jamie McCrimmon so well, and I absolutely do like Jamie. He is honestly in my top 5 companions. I have to say, I really like Zoe as well, which is why I'm going to have to tie them together, because Zoe, as much as basically how much of an equal to the Doctor she is, she's very, very brainy. The Doctor is intelligent. He knows how to manipulate things. And then when you get Zoe, she's actually very brainy as well. And the two of them really get on so well, which is something I absolutely love. My favourite story for the second Doctor has got to go to the Invasion, because it's just generally a fantastic story. And I generally love it. So when I think about the most definitive villain for the second Doctor, there's two that comes into mind. You got the Ice Warriors and the Cybermen. But I'm going to have to go with my gut feeling with this one. I really think the Cybermen become more of a second Doctor villain than basically a first Doctor villain. And the fact the Doctor foils them 4 times in his second incarnation, which is honestly brilliant, because 1, he literally stops them taking over the moon base. 2, he literally seals them in the ice tombs on Terrace with the cyber controller. Then, of course, you got when they try to invade Planet 14, and when they try to invade the Earth by using cybermats and other ways, like cyber planners and stuff, and basically using a human to try and get their bidding done. I just genuinely love the second Doctor's era. It's absolutely brilliant. So yeah, that's basically it for the second Doctor. My favourite season is definitely season 6. My favourite story is basically the Invasion. My favourite companions to the second Doctor is basically Zoe and Jamie. And my favourite, I think the most definitive version for a villain has got to go to the Cybermen for the second Doctor. Honestly, just flat out brilliant. So jumping into the third Doctor, played by the iconic Jon Pertwee, who is basically my 6th favourite Doctor, because Colin Baker's kind of kicked him out of his spot. Now, Jon Pertwee's Doctor, he's very iconic. He's got some great words. I reverse the polarity of the neutron flow. I really like the way how he's very, very... basically the way he literally comes up with big, giant words for people he doesn't get on with, where he goes, some people are petty, Brigadier. Petty and selfish. And some other words as well. Like, I think he's the very first Doctor to use primitive. I really think he's the very first incarnation of the Doctor to use the word primitive. Now, Jon Pertwee's Doctor is very, very hands-on gadgets, like a bit like James Bond. And then, of course, he uses Phoenician Aikido, and he can actually kick you on your arse. My favourite season for basically the third Doctor has got to go to season 10, because I just genuinely love season 10. It's iconic. It's amazing. Now, out of the third Doctor's companions, I think the only one that really springs to mind as the most definitive companion to him has got to be to Jo Grant. Now, bearing in mind the third Doctor basically had Sergeant Bentham, the Brigadier, and Captain Yates, and Liz Shaw, and basically Sarah Jane Smith. I really think him and Jo Grant's friendship is honestly absolutely brilliant. I always feel such a connection to them two, especially from season 8 all the way down to season 10. Flat out amazing. I absolutely love them. The most definitive villain for the third Doctor has got to be the Master, because I just genuinely love Roger Delgado's performance as the Master. I honestly think Roger Delgado is definitely the most definitive villain for the Doctor. His incarnation of the Master, which is absolutely brilliant. My favourite story for basically Jon Pertwee has got to go to the Three Doctors, because I just generally love that one. And it was my first first or second multi-Doctor story. I think it was my second one from memory. and that's when I was about 3, 4. Because I absolutely did enjoy the 3 Doctors. I love the bickering between the 3rd and 2nd Doctor. Who is that? Me! Like, I really love the 3 Doctors. I love Omega. I love the fact how the Time Lords give the Doctor his freedom to go back through to travel through time and space after being exiled. So yeah, I really do like the 3rd Doctor's era, and I just think the definitive villain for him has got to be the Master, played by Roger Delgado. I really do. My favourite incarnation of the Doctor, my number 1, has got to go to Tom Baker. Would you like a jelly, baby? I honestly flat out love Tom Baker's run all the way through. They are amazing. Every single one of his stories. So, Tom's Doctor, he's very eccentric. He's very witty. He's got that great personality, and which is something I just love about the 1st Doctor. The 4th Doctor, sorry. He's very different from his predecessors, I'm going to have to say. I absolutely do love Tom Baker's style as well with the long scarf. My favourite season for Tom has got to be season 13. Man, oh man, that is such a great season. I really love it. Every single one of its stories is, bam, a classic. I really love season 13. The definitive companion to the 4th Doctor, I think it's a tie between Sarah Jane and Leela. As much as I do like Sarah Jane, I love Leela as well. So I'm going to have to say I think Leela and Sarah Jane are definitely the most fantastic, amazing companions. And I really think they're most definitive to the 4th Doctor. Because I just love Leela. I hope that girl Leela's in trouble. I honestly love them. But I love Sarah Jane with the 4th Doctor. But Leela has got to be my 2nd favourite companion. And I really like Leela over Sarah Jane. But them two are so neck and neck. I just absolutely love the two of them. I really love the chemistry between the Doctor and Sarah Jane. Like when he literally manipulates her in basically arc in space to try and get where she's trying to climb through the air vent. She's thinking of giving up. And she goes, oh, Doctor, nothing. I know you were a disappointment, Sarah. I honestly absolutely love how the 4th Doctor did that. And basically Sarah Jane gets angry with him and frustrated. And then, yeah, I really like that chemistry where literally, and when she's there in the time, she goes, I am going home. And the Doctor ain't listening to her because he's too busy trying to repair the TARDIS console. And really, I just absolutely love them two. But the 4th Doctor and Leela, I just genuinely love Louise Jameson with Tom Baker. I don't know what it is about them two. But I just genuinely love the Doctor travelling with a savage companion. It's really such a great one. My favourite story for Tom has got to go to Pyramids of Mars. It was going to be Genesis of the Daleks, but I'm sorry, but the amount of times I've watched Pyramids of Mars over the last couple of months, basically since the end of season 1 or season 40, because I just genuinely love Sutekh, and I really think Sutekh is definitely a great villain, and he will basically be mentioned in the definitive villains. I just absolutely love Pyramids of Mars. I love the storytelling. I love the setting. I just absolutely love it. And for the most definitive villain for the 4th Doctor, there are so many. There are so many definitive villains for the 4th Doctor. Like there's Davros, who's most iconic. There's Sutekh. There's basically Morbius. There is Aldrad. Then, of course, you've got the Master, the Decaying Master. You got the Black Guardian. But I'm going to say the most definitive villain for the 4th Doctor has got to go to Sutekh. I just absolutely love Sutekh. I really do love Gabriel Wolf's voice. And I really do think Sutekh is the most definitive version for a villain for the 4th Doctor. I just think he is. He's just pure amazing. I just absolutely love Sutekh. He just absolutely is brilliant. Honestly, flat out brilliant. I just absolutely love Sutekh. Talking about the 5th Doctor. So the 5th Doctor is very different from his predecessors because he's a lot young for, and he goes to play cricket, and really he gets on with everybody in the TARDIS apart from Adric, because them two do bicker quite a lot. Oh, so does the Doctor and Tegan. I really do enjoy Peter Davis's performance as the 5th Doctor, but he is basically in the bottom part for me because I just enjoy other Doctors over the 5th Doctor. And Peter Davison, if you're watching this, I am sorry to say that, but I just enjoy other Doctors above you. But you are so much better than any of the modern Doctors. So you are above quite a few of the modern Doctors, I have to say. But basically, my favourite season for Peter Davison has got to go to season 21. I love the dark nature of basically The Awakening, Frontios, Resurrection of the Daleks, Planet of Fire, and the case of Androzani. I really love the dark nature that the 5th Doctor's in these situations because he's such a light character. He wants to play things nice and safe. But when he gets into season 21, everything is a danger. You got some great iconic dark stories for him, like Resurrection of the Daleks. So yeah, I absolutely do love season 21. The most definitive companion to the Fifth Doctor, I gotta think, goes to Tegan Javanka. I honestly do think Tegan is the most definitive companion to the Fifth Doctor. She's very, very gobby, a bit like Donna is with 10. I really think this is where Donna kind of inherits from for Russell T Davies, because Donna does remind me a little bit of Tegan, but I think Tegan's done so much better than Donna in some episodes, a lot of her episodes, to be honest with you. She's very, very like a mouth on legs, and it's just absolutely brilliant. And I absolutely love Tegan, I really do, and I think she's the most definitive companion to the Fifth Doctor. My favourite story for the Fifth Doctor is the case of Androzani. If you have been following my channel since the very, very beginning, all those years ago, back in 2017, you know the case of Androzani. It is my favourite David story. It is my favourite regeneration story. It's definitely brilliant, and I absolutely love it. So talking about basically the definitive villain for the Fifth Doctor. It's so hard to choose because the Fifth Doctor has so many villains, I could say, that are the most very definitive. You've got the Master, played by Anthony Ainley. You've got Tellarites. You've got Cybermen. You've got Davros. You've got Daleks. You've got Sirius Jack and Muggus. But I think the most definitive villain for the Fifth Doctor, I'm going to have to go with basically... I really can't pick because they're all so good and they are brilliant. But if I could think about who is the most definitive villain for the Fifth Doctor, I'm going to say the Master, aka Anthony Ainley, because Anthony Ainley and Pete Davison have that kind of fantastic battle between those two characters. A bit like Roger Delgado and basically John Pertwee, but Davison is not as good with basically the Master as John Pertwee would have been. But I still quite enjoy his stories. I really love Castrofalva. I really like Time Flight with him playing Khalid. So, like that. I really love the Master's Khalid. Shalom, 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 shalom. Oh, my dear Doctor, you're being naive. I honestly think the Master is definitely the definitive villain for the Fifth Doctor. I really do think that. I honestly have to say that hands down. So then, of course, jumping into the Sixth Doctor, played by Colin Baker, who has basically moved into my fifth favourite incarnation of the Doctor. So my favourite season for Colin has got to go to season 22, hands down. I love the darker nature of that season. Every single thing about that season is lovely. I just think I love the bit when you got Simon Cushing Lytton's hands, you see the blood and a little bit of bone. I love the prison planet. I love the Irani, who's basically one of the best villains for the Sixth Doctor. I absolutely do like Syl. And then, of course, Davros, who basically turns people into food and basically create new race of Daleks and the planet Necros. So, yeah, I think season 22 is definitely the most definitive season for the Sixth Doctor, and it's definitely my favourite season for the Sixth Doctor. So, talking about companions, the definitive companion to the Sixth Doctor has got to go to Perry. I absolutely do enjoy Perry. Nicola Bryant is so good with Peter Davison, but I think it's a hammer on the head with Colin. And I just absolutely love these two together in season 22 and a little bit of season 23. Yes, Perry is a little bit fed up with the Sixth Doctor because he's very bashful. He's very darker elements where he literally is so good because he did try to strangle her in his very first story. But them two really do get on a lot better as basically their time in the TARDIS goes on. And Big Finish has done such great work with these two. And I absolutely think Perry's definitely the most definitive companion to the Sixth Doctor. So talking about my favourite story for the Sixth Doctor has got to go to Attack of the Cybermen. I absolutely love Attack of the Cybermen. It is just such an iconic story. It's honestly brilliant and amazing story. I love it. The fact it's a sequel and a prequel. It's a sequel to two stories and a prequel to the 10th Planet. I love the Cryons. The Cryons are quite good as well. And the fact we see the character of Lytton redeem himself after Resurrection of the Daleks is actually quite good as well. So talking about the most definitive villain for the Sixth Doctor, I'm going to have to say, out of all of the Sixth Doctor villains, the one I cannot think of without leaving my head, who I think is definitely the most definitive villain for the Sixth Doctor, has got to go to the Valeyard, played by Michael Jason, the late Michael Jason. I really think he's definitely the most definitive villain for the Sixth Doctor. He's very brilliant because now, if you remember from the Valeyard's point of view, he exists somewhere between the Doctor's 12th and final incarnations as the darker elements. And the fact the time was basically pulled him out of his future and says, look, we need to do this. We will give you the Doctor's life cycle and you can go and do whatever flipping out you want. I really love the Valiard. He's just got that pure thing where he just wants the Doctor's lives. And the Doctor's there going, nope, you're not having my lives. I don't care. No. I'm going to fight you all the way through. I demand full termination of the Doctor's life. I really think the Valiard is definitely the definitive villain for the 6th Doctor, which I absolutely genuinely love about it. I really do. So talking about the 7th Doctor, played by Sylvester McCoy, who is my second favourite incarnation of the Doctor. McCoy, I absolutely love. I'm currently just finished rewatching all of his stories from season 24 all the way down to season 26. I absolutely love the darker nature, the manipulative side of the Doctor, the way he manipulates Fenric, the way he manipulates Ace, the way he manipulates those guards in Paradise Towers, and of course in the Happiness Patrol. I just absolutely love it. My favourite season for the 7th Doctor has got to go to season 26. I really like the darker nature of that season. Again, you can tell I like dark seasons. I really do love dark seasons for each Doctor. And I really just absolutely genuinely love him. I really do love season 26. Every single one of the stories. The most definitive companion to the 7th Doctor is Ace. Ace is honestly my favourite companion out of all of the companions. She's my number one. I just absolutely love Ace. And she's definitely the most definitive companion of all time. And definitely the most definitive to the 7th Doctor. My favourite story to the 7th Doctor's era has got to go hands down to the Curse of Fenric. Again, from season 26. You can tell, I love this story. I really do love it. I love the He Falls. I love the gothic tale of it. I absolutely love the darker nature of it. And the manipulation the 7th Doctor brings into that role is honestly just icing on the cake. So when I think about the most definitive villain for the 7th Doctor, it's so hard to choose because there are so many iconic villains. You've got the Irani, you've got the Chief Caretaker, you've got basically Gavrok, and then of course you've got Mr. Kane, you've got the Daleks, you've got the Cybermen, you've got the Candyman, Helen H, you've got basically the Psychic Circus and the Head Clown, then of course you've got Morgaine, and then of course you've got the entity of Ghostlight and basically Fenric and the Master. But I think the most definitive villain for the 7th Doctor has got to go to Fenric. Because Fenric is this fantastic godlike entity. And I will be definitely 100% hand down for the return of Fenric. I would love to see the return of Fenric and he joins the pantheon of gods. I really love to see the return of Fenric. The way they can actually do it in modern age, I really think they could... imagine an entity that can take over body to body to body. It just sounds so fantastic on page. And I just genuinely absolutely love Fenric. It's absolutely brilliant. So talking about the 8th Doctor, he's only had 2 on-screen appearances and mainly a load of Big Finish audio adventures. Now, the 8th Doctor, he is definitely fantastic. I just genuinely love him for my 7th favourite version of the Doctor. I really love him. I really love the 8th Doctor. I just can't say anything more than that. So my favourite story I'm going to have to say for him, or my favourite series, has got to go from Big Finish because he ain't got any on screen, which is basically Dark Eyes. I really love the darker nature of the 8th Doctor in that story, in that whole story arc. And the fact I haven't listened to any of the others. I still need to get Doom Compilation. I need to get Ravenous and of course Stranded, because they are such great stories and they carry on the arc that was set up in Dark Eyes. So I really love Dark Eyes. My favourite story of Dark Eyes has got to go to Eyes of the Master, because I just love the fact that basically the Master and the Doctor reunited the Masters in a fantastic new body, which is honestly brilliant because I absolutely love the Master played by Alex McQueen, which is why I'm going to have to say he's the most definitive villain for the 8th Doctor so far, because I just genuinely love him. I honestly, hands down, absolutely love basically Alex McQueen's incarnation of the Master. He's very brilliant and fantastic and amazing. I really do love it. And then of course the most definitive companion to the 8th Doctor, I'm going to have to say Lucy Miller, because I actually do quite like Lucy. I've listened to quite a few audios of hers. I've listened to a few clips on YouTube. I think Lucy's definitely the most definitive companion to the 8th Doctor, followed by Iv Chenka. And that's really it. So talking about the War Doctor, I can't really say anything for the War Doctor because I haven't listened to all of his. Honestly, I need to get behind the War Doctor stories. I need to get more of the War Doctor stories for Big Finish. I really do. So I can't wait to say anything for them. So talking about the 9th Doctor, played by the one and only amazing Christopher Eccleston after one good series. So my favourite series is definitely series 1 of his. That's the only way I can actually say it. Definitive companion for the 9th Doctor, Rose. I honestly think Rose is so much better with the 9th Doctor than she is with the 10th Doctor. I honestly think Rose is definitely a good companion for the 9th Doctor. My favourite episode out of his has got to go to Bad Wolf and Parting of the Ways, because I just love that Dalek 2-parter. I love the return of the Emperor Dalek. I absolutely love the whole bit of the game station. The fact it's all just one great big massive trap. I absolutely genuinely love it. So yeah, the definitive villain for the 9th Doctor has got to go to the Daleks as well, just because of Dalek. Dalek is so menacing in that story, and it shows you how much one Dalek can do. And then of course you have the return of them in the finale. So I think the Daleks are definitely the most definitive villain for the 9th Doctor, and I am to say that. So talking about the 10th Doctor, oh dear, very timey-wimey, because the 10th Doctor, I like some of his episodes. I don't like his character art. I really don't like the romance side of the Doctor in his 10th incarnation. I really prefer classically, because this is where Doctor Who feels like it's going from something that was going to be good in series 1, and it goes into like this kind of lovey-dovey triangle sort of thing between like Rose and Martha and all that, going bloody 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 blah. So talking about the 10th Doctor, I don't care for the lovey-dovey stuff. I really think the lovey-dovey stuff is definitely pants. I really don't care for it. I really absolutely don't care for the lovey-dovey stuff. So my favourite series for the 10th Doctor has got to go to series 4, because I think that's definitely his best series so far. I absolutely love series 4. I love every single one of the stories. There's 2 duds in it, in that series, that I'm like, it could have been so much better, but you know what, it's still a good series. It's still a good series. I absolutely love series 4. The most definitive companion to the fantastic 10th Doctor, I'm going to say it's Donna. I really think Donna's the most definitive companion to the 10th Doctor. 1, because there's no lovey-dovey stuff going on there. No lovey-dovey stuff. No hanky-panky going in the ties with them 2. Which is something I'm like, yeah, I actually feel like Doctor Who's going back where series 1 was in series 4. I absolutely love it. I really love series 4. My favourite episode for the 10th Doctor has got to go to the Waters of Mars. Because the Waters of Mars, again, it's just iconic. It is a brilliant story. I absolutely love that story. I love the horror setting with the water when it's dripping out people's mouths. It's just iconic. It really is iconic, and I just genuinely love it. I really do absolutely flat out love Waters of Mars. It's definitely my favourite Tennant story for the 10th Doctor. Not for 14. You'll see that a bit later on. So, talking about the definitive villains for the 10th Doctor, it's very hard to say what is definitely the definitive villain for the 10th Doctor, but I'm going to have to say Davros, because Davros takes him as prisoner. He makes the Doctor kind of watch people get disintegrated into dust because of the reality bomb. The fact that the Doctor regenerated into his handy spare hand, and the fact it created like a human version of himself, that Davros did say that's the downfall of Davros, because the Doctor cloned himself in a way, which is the downfall of that story. Because if that didn't happen, the Daleks would have won, the 10th Doctor would have lost, and I really think the 10th Doctor would have lost at that point. I really think it would have lost if it wasn't for Donna and the Meta Crisis Doctor. But saying that, I really think Davros is definitely the most definitive villain for the 10th Doctor, because he's very, very insane. I really do quite like Davros. Julian Bleach plays a really great Davros. Not my favourite Davros, because that still goes to Terry Malloy. But yeah, I think the most definitive villain has got to go to Davros for the 10th Doctor. I really think it was a tie between Davros and the Master. Very, very much of a tie, but I'm going to have to go with Davros with this one. So then, of course, talking about the 11th Doctor, played by the one and only Matt Smith. I quite like Matt Smith's era. I've literally just finished watching them all on this fantastic Blu-ray box set that I got from America. And I absolutely love Matt Smith's Doctor. He's very, very, like, Troughtonous, but so good, and a little bit... it's a little bit better than Tennant, I'm going to say. The one thing I hate about the 11th Doctor is very... Again, it's like, he's not very, like, lovey-dovey. It's very, like... Yeah, I do like the relationship between the Doctor and River, because that has got a good plot. My favourite series for the 11th Doctor has got to go to Series 5, because I really think that's definitely the 11th Doctor's best series, because all the stories is honestly absolutely brilliant. I think that's when Moffat is at his best. So, talking about a definitive companion to basically the 11th Doctor, I'm going to say Clara, because I actually quite like Clara with the little amount of time that we got with her with 11 before she went with 12. Because Clara wasn't very irksome as she gets with 12. Because I really think Clara kind of gets a little bit irksome and it's just like, ugh. Yeah, but Clara doesn't get very like irksome basically with 11. Because I actually do quite like 11th Doctor. He's absolutely brilliant and amazing with her. I do prefer Clara over the Ponds. I'm sorry to say that to anyone that loves the Ponds, but I think Clara is so much better than the Ponds. And definitely quite good. So, talking about my favourite story for the 11th Doctor, I've got to say it's the Snowmen, because it's the return of the Great Intelligence. I always love it when they bring back a classic Doctor Who villain. And the fact they brought back the Great Intelligence all those Christmases ago, back in 2012, they're bringing back a villain that we have not seen since the Web of Fear. Hands down. Brilliant. Just brilliant. I absolutely love that story. And I really love the Victorian version of Clara. She's very, very witty. She's very, very smart. I do quite like Victoria's Clara. I really do. So, if I was going to say who is the most definitive villain for basically the 11th Doctor, I'm going to say the Church of the Purple Mayframe, because they went back in time to try and kill him. They literally blow his tires up to cause all the cracks in the universe. Then you got the whole point of them kidnapping River and torturing her and basically brainwashing her to become the Doctor's killer. And then technically later on we find out why that happened, because of the Doctor's life on Trenzalore. So yeah, I really think the Church of the Purple Mayframe is definitely the most definitive villain for the basically 11th Doctor. Because in the last story, they are a bit basically like, oh, we are your allies, Doctor, but a group of us have gone back in time to try and kill you. Like that. I really do quite like that. I really have to admit, I do like that. It's just such a great story. I really like the whole character of the Church of the Purple Mayframe. I really do. Or basically the Church of the Silence. I really do quite like that. So then, of course, jumping into the 12th Doctor, my favourite modern Doctor. I absolutely love the 12th Doctor. Peter Capaldi plays the 12th Doctor. Flipping amazing. I honestly flat out love 12. I really do. He's amazing. He's brilliant. Clara. Shut up. Just shut up. I absolutely love Peter Capaldi in the role of the 12th Doctor. He's honestly amazing and brilliant and fantastic. He really is. All those in one. So, my favourite season or series for the 12th Doctor has got to go to Series 10. Because Series 10 definitely feels like it is the best of the Capaldi era. Because I just love him with Nardole. 12 and Nardole, brilliant. But when you throw Bill into the mix, making that into a fantastic trio, the chemistry between all three of them, bloody hell, is brilliant. Honestly, absolutely brilliant. I love the fact how the 12th Doctor is very good at manipulating. Because he manipulates Bill, making her think that he's literally working for the monks. Which is something I can see the 7th Doctor doing. And I love the bit we're using the regeneration. I've always thought the regeneration bit was a bit over the top because, you know, the Doctor, you know, but now with him being the whole Space Jesus, Timeless Child sort of thing going on, I do quite like, yeah, you know what, if he's got a load of regeneration energy left, use it while you can. So yeah, I do quite like 12. And Series 10 is definitely my favourite series of his. Definitely is. The definitive companions to 12 has got to go to Bill and Nardole. Again, they're absolutely brilliant and so much better than Clara. I really prefer these two over Clara. Clara's so good with Matt Smith's Doctor. I really think she should have stayed with Matt Smith. If Matt Smith stayed for Series 8, I think them two should have left together in Series 8 if that was a Matt Smith series. But the fact she was with Peter Capaldi, Series 8, she's kind of okay. I do not mind doing Series 8, but in Series 9, she comes very, very irksome for me. And I don't care for that. Like, the fact that she goes, I'm going to smack you so hard you're going to regenerate, like in Series 8, it's like, yeah, I love to see that, because the Doctor's been slapped by so many people, he's not even been caused to regenerate. But yeah, I really think the most definitive companions to 12 is definitely Bill and Nardole. Absolutely brilliant. My favourite episode has got to go to One Other Time and The Doctor Falls for 12, because I just think that's fantastic finale. It's brilliant. 3 versions of the Sunman, 2 versions of the Master. Honestly, absolutely flat out amazing and brilliant. So, talking about the most definitive villain for 12. So the most definitive villain for 12 has got to go to Missy. Now, Missy is the female version of the Master, who is basically far more brilliant than John Sim. Flat out brilliant than John Sim. She's honestly so much better than John Sim. I really love Michelle Gomez. She's she's like Anthony Ainley. She feels like a lot closer to Anthony Ainley and Richard Gardo than John Sim's Master did. And that's the one thing I love about her. She very reminds me a little bit of Anthony Ainley's Master, and I absolutely flipping love her for that. So I really think, yeah, Missy is definitely the definitely definitive version, and the definitely definitive villain for the 12th Doctor. She's absolutely brilliant. I do like the character where she starts to become good, and then she meets basically her past self, and then because she's in two heads, so you see her trying to fight the bad side of her, and you know, you do see that literally when she goes, I'm going to stand with the Doctor. I say I will never stand with the Doctor. So yeah, I really do think Missy's definitely the most definitive villain for 12. I absolutely love that because one, she converts all the dead into Cybermen. Two, basically, she's just brilliant. Honestly, absolutely brilliant. So then, of course, the 13th Doctor, played by Jodie Whittaker. Ugh. So, if I'm going to say something nice about Jodie Whittaker's Doctor, I do quite like her. I like some of her episodes. I think she's got some good episodes. She's got more bad episodes than good episodes. I'm going to have to say that. I really think she's got some more bad episodes than good episodes. She's got one bad series. Series 11. Flat out, Series 11 is terrible. Terrible. But Series 12 has definitely got to be my favourite season for her. I honestly love Series 12. Series 12, I absolutely love Spyfall. I absolutely love the Nikola Tesla episode. I love Fugitive Do. And I really love Social of the Cybermen and The Haunting of Villa Dote. But then you've got stories that are like, they're not so good, are they? But they're still quite enjoyable and so much better than over the last series. So yeah, I do think Series 12 is definitely her strongest season and definitely one that I absolutely love because I do love Series 12. My favourite companion to 13 is Yaz. I think because Yaz basically stays with her for a whole lifetime with travelling with 13, I really think she's definitely the most definitive companion to 13, which is something I'm like, yeah, you know what, I actually do quite like Yaz. I really do like Yaz. The fact that I have met Amanda Gillip is, she's so brilliant. Honestly, absolutely is. So brilliant, so amazing, and meeting her back in June was an absolutely fantastic experience. I'm hoping I get to meet her again at some point and get to sign Series 12 and maybe Series 7. But yeah, I do quite like, yeah, she's actually quite brilliant. So talking about a definitive villain for 13, the Spy Master. Definitely got to go to the Master. So yeah, two incarnations of the Master, both very insane. So because Michelle Gomez is absolutely brilliant and I absolutely love Michelle Gomez, but John Sim is a very close second and best modern Master for me. I absolutely love John Sim's Master. Sacha Dhawan's Master, sorry. He's absolutely insane. I love the Rasputin bit. I absolutely love the fact that he is literally the only Master who can literally take over the Doctor's regeneration cycle and take the Doctor's place. The last time we saw that happen was in the TV movie with Eric Roberts. I can feel your thoughts, Doctor. I can hear your memories. Oh, like that. And that was basically because of the Eye of Harmony. And the fact that the Master's learned from not using the Eye of Harmony, and the fact he's literally using Gallifreyan tech that he stole from Gallifrey with the Cyber Masters, and he literally does a forced regeneration, so he's forcing the Doctor to regenerate into him. And basically his original body kind of dies because he's took over the Doctor's lifespan because of the Master meeting, having the Cyberium, and the Cyberium was actually killing the Master's body. So I do love the fact that literally he goes insane. I love the bit that he has echoes of the Doctor's personality in him, like we see him play the recorder. He's very, very insane. He's just absolutely brilliant. I absolutely love Sacha Dhawan's Master. I really do. 14. So talking about 14, I do like 14. David Tennant is so much better than 14 than he is as 10. I'm sorry to say that. To anybody that loves 10, David Tennant is so much better as 14. Hands down. I absolutely love 14 over 10. 10 is like, no, 14. Yep. I'm so glad David Tennant had another crack at playing another incarnation of the Doctor, because I never really quite liked him as 10. I used to love him growing up, but I don't care for him now as 10. But watching him as 14 is brilliant. And the fact I have watched the 60th anniversary specials so many times since over the last year, I haven't really gone back and rewatched 10 in a very long time, because I was watching Series 2 when the specials were airing, and I'm like, you know, I'm not going to watch any more of 10, not watch any more of 10. And then, boom, comes as 14, and I was very, very worried that it was just going to be like another carbon copy of 10. But the fact he feels like a different incarnation is just so brilliant. I really love 14. I absolutely love 14's Doctor. He's absolutely brilliant. He's absolutely amazing and absolutely iconic and brilliant. I honestly do. Absolutely brilliant. Honestly, he is. My favourite episode of his is the Giggle, because it's the return of the Toymaker, and this time he's played by Neil Patrick Harris. The only thing I don't care for is the bi-generation, but it's very sustainable. It's very okay-ish, which is something I'm like, yeah, you know what, it is okay. But yeah, the most definitive villain for 14 is definitely got to be the Toymaker, because Speak the Meep is not very memorable. The things at the end of the universe, not very memorable to me. But yeah, the Toymaker definitely feels like he's definitely the definitive villain for the 14th Doctor. And again, Donna is very much of a definitive companion to him, a bit like 10. So I do quite like Catherine Tate with 14, and I do with 10. It feels so fresh and so good, which is something I love about 14. And then, of course, talking about the current Doctor, Ncuti Gatwa, aka 15. And I'm not going to say much because we've only had one season and we've got a new companion join him in the next season. So I'm not really going to say like the most definitive companion. I'm not going to say my favourite season of his. So I'm literally going to say my favourite episodes so far. So my favourite episode of his so far has got to go to basically Legend of Ruby Sunday and Empire of Death, just because of the return of Sutekh. I'm going to have to say that. It's absolutely brilliant and absolutely fantastic. And that's really it I want to say for all of the Doctors, really. I know I haven't mentioned the Fugitive Doctor. Is because I'm really looking forward to diving into her Big Finish run later this month. So that way I can go, I actually do quite, so I know what I'm going to say about basically Fugitive, because Fugitive has only had like one episode and then a load of cameos. So yeah, I kind of want more from her before I can say. But yeah, that's basically it for each of the Doctor, my summary of the Doctor, my favourite seasons, my favourite stories, my favourite companions. They're the most definitive villains for those Doctors. So yeah, happy 61st anniversary to Doctor Who. I hope you all have a cracking, amazing day, and I hope you have a great anniversary, Doctor Who. And I cannot wait to see what comes out for the show's 70th anniversary. Hopefully the show continues on by then. Hopefully. Because at this current time, we don't know season 3 is happening. I'm hoping it is going to happen, but you know what? We don't know what's happening until after season 2 has aired. But yeah, thank you for watching. Please do like, subscribe, and share, and join me for awesome Doctor Who content.